Right.
Doesn't help you much, right? But if you really want to change, most people are trying to change. Say you want to lose weight, they want to make money. They go, how do I do it? They look for the strategy. But I'd like you to think of 3 S's. Strategy is where most people go first. Like, how do I do it?
So it's just starting out. Everything in life comes from intention. You must intend to increase these things.
So through my life, I realize these things. And I know what gives me fuel is I know that most people who are blessed with so much talent.
Me, for example. A speech by an inventor who secured a patent, started a business, and now her products litter the aisles of Walmart and Target. Now, her story doesn't overlap our stories of being trial attorneys, but there's a lot to learn from her story. Yes, she believed in herself. Yes, she never stopped trying. Yes, she never gave up on her dream. But in the midst of all that, there was a process. For the inventor turned retail sales tycoon, there was a plan. There was a plan in designing and in securing patents for her products.
But how hard is it really truly to be fit and have energy? It's not that complex. It's not like reserved for the 1% or expensive to learn. You have to interrupt. You have to hide from the answers to those things. The real problem is the second S, story. They have a story that says it's a set of beliefs they tell themselves over and again. I've tried everything. Or if they're single, all the good ones are gone. Whatever the story is. And if you tell yourself a story over and over again, so we convince ourselves. You always come up with a lousy story when you're in a lousy state. And so the number one thing I show people to do is how to change their emotional state. When you're feeling tired or frustrated, when you learn how to change your body so that you really feel excited and isn't fake, when you learn how to change your biochemistry, which is what I teach people to do, when you're upset with someone, do you ever notice how you can now remember everything that they've ever done that ever upset you, right? Yes. But when you're in love, what's wrong with life?
I knew the general manager would be calling soon. I answered the phone. I said, hello? He said, Les, this is Mr. Klein. I said, I know. He said, Rock can't finish his program. I said, I know. He said, would you call one of the other DJs to come in? I said, yes, sir. I hung the phone up. I said, now he must think I'm crazy. I called my mom and my girlfriend, Cassandra. I said, y'all come out on the front porch, turn up the radio. I'm about to come on the air. I waited for about 20 minutes and I called him back. I said, Mr. Klein, I can't find nobody. He said, young boy, do you know how to work the control? I said, yes, sir. He said, go in there and don't say nothing here. I said, yes, sir. I couldn't wait to get in the control room and get old Rock out the way. I sat down at that turntable. I said, look out, this is BLB, Triple P, Les Brown, your platter playing papa. There were none before me, and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only.
What's wrong with anything? When you're in love, we have no money. Who cares? We're in love. So your emotional state controls the story you have about your life, and then your story determines whether you find a strategy, or even if you know the strategy, whether you really do it or not. When people say I tried, what they're really telling me is I have a story that says I should try this, but it's really not going to work. So I give it a half-reared attempt and it didn't work, and now I can tell people I tried. What you really got to do is learn to change your emotion, your state, change your story, and then you can find the strategy, or you can make the strategy to work. I constantly believe you got to feed your mind and challenge your body, because the mind-body works together. What stops people, as we said, is fear. Well, fear is physical. You feel it in your throat, your gut. But if you do something really physically strong on a regular basis, you develop a new emotional habit. And that emotional habit will get you to follow through and do things differently that people won't do. It's really not that complex. There are a few habits in your life that truly could change your whole life. I start every single day with this process called priming, training my brain to be in a peak state.
Young and single and love to mingle, certified, bona fide, indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction, a whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry. We live in the greatest country in the world that gives us the opportunity to develop our greatness. Repeat out to me, please. Since greatness is possible, then being excellent is not enough. See, let me tell you what I mean by that. When you're operating at the level of excellence, you're doing that well the way you know you should have done it in the first place. But when you're pursuing your greatness, you don't know where that can go. You don't know where that can lead to. See, when Larry Bird walks on the court, or Michael Jordan, people don't pack stadiums to see them because they're excellent. They're going there to witness greatness, because any and everybody can't do that. See, you don't know what your limits are, so you want to act like you don't have any. I don't know what your goals are. I don't know what you want to do, but I want to leave this on you.
There is a difference between motivational sayings and one's attitude. People who succeed believe in themselves. They believe in their ideas. They believe they can succeed. Do you need me to share with you famous quotes or inspirational songs or uplifting stories to get you to believe in yourself, to boost your confidence, to convince you to take the hill? You have to tackle any project as if you've already done it 1,000 times, and that you've already succeeded, but the circumstances simply have not caught up to the success yet.
So I want you to become incredibly intentional at feeding your hunger level. Bringing the goal closer to you, repeating it over and over, makes you starving for it. And the more you can increase that state, the more you stay focused. Ironically, there's a connection between hunger and desperation and focus. They're related. So be intentional about them. The story I gave you about if, God forbid, a loved one or a child of yours was in an accident, can you imagine how focused you immediately become when something becomes that important to you, that desperate to you? What happens is everything else, all the distractions of what other people think about us, any other circumstances, what we don't know, what we don't have, anything scarce to us, goes away because we're so desperate, it increases our focus. If you think about anything you've had that becomes desperate to you.
Great parents, great upbringing, didn't come from where I come from. They're going to quit before me. Having all the tools that they have, they didn't have the ability to examine themselves. When you have everything so nice in life, you don't self-examine. You don't do a live autopsy. When you have a fucked up life, it almost forces you to do a live autopsy. It forces you to find strength from places that no one looks from. Because food is not at the ready. You know, I have a learning disability. It's not at the ready. There's preparation behind everything I fucking do. There's everything I do has to come with so much fucking preparation. It's despicable. It makes me sick. My own personal life.
If there was a burglar in your home, for example, and you were desperate, think about the millions of things you're no longer thinking about and how focused you are in on that one thing. We've all had that time when we're laying in bed at night and we think we hear a noise, right? You become so focused, you hear every little creak in the ceiling, don't you? Every little movement of the floor. You hear your sheets move. Oh my gosh, there it is again. You become hyper aware and hyper focused when you increase desperation. So become intentional is step 2. Third, what is your plan? What is your strategy to increase your hunger level and to increase your focus level? So part of that plan might be, I need to be around people more immediately who can hold me accountable and repeat back to me what I've told them my outcomes are. I need to put myself in situations where I'm accountable, where I'm a part of a group where I have to report my results to them. Perhaps it's going public if it's your body, and going public with, this is my intention the next 30 days. This is what I'm going to do. Putting additional pressure on yourself.
Makes me sick. That's why I'm so disciplined now. Without my self-discipline, there is no David Goggins. Like, I can't stop reading. I won't be able to read tomorrow. I will lose it that fast. I cannot stop going to the gym. My mind is set up in a spot where, hey, the second I stop, it wants to stop. Because I had a quitting mind growing up. When you get beat the shit out of you all the time, your mind wants to go to that nice spot where you're comforted, where you're not trying, where shit is easy. That's where your mind, it doesn't want to think. You have all these things in the mind, and the mind can only absorb so much shit. So all the pain that has to go through, it wants to push it away and say, let's not do that. So every day I'm fighting where the mind wants to go.
People who succeed share this. Attitude. You have to believe in yourself, in your idea, in your plan, and in the process. Most every motivational book talks about this. How does the saying go? It's not your aptitude, but your attitude that determines your altitude. How often have you heard someone say that? Include it in a book? Reference it in a seminar? How about some permutation of that? But you say, I don't have that attitude.